Angel Creations. Welcome back to my New Hampshire craft room. I'm having so much fun in my New Hampshire craft room. Thanks for joining me today. And let's look again at these gorgeous flowers from my friend Gail. I have to just show them off. They are beautiful. Look at these. Oh my gosh. She just, look at, they're in a little drawer. See the knob? Oh, I wish I could bring them home with me, but they're not going to make it. I don't go home until August 6th, I believe, but of course my fresh flowers wouldn't make it that long, but otherwise I would consider maybe bringing those on my lap. But anyways, Gail, thank you so much. And I gave him some water, and I think I soaked my table a little bit. So put those over here. I still want us to enjoy them, so let's put them there so we can see them. All right, so let's put the apron on. Boy, I am not ready today, am I? I am actually, I was out enjoying my sister's backyard. You know what? I'm sitting down, so I'm not even going to tie that. But anyways, I was out enjoying my sister's backyard and listening to the birds and watching the bees. So today we are going to be using one of the, or actually a couple of these rub-on transfers, the ones that say spring on them from Dollar Tree. And I gotta put them someplace for a second. And we're going to be using 2 of the tall arrows and one of the short arrows from Dollar Tree. So we are just going to take the jute hangers off all of these. We're going to be turning these into, I'm not even going to bother feeding that through. We're not going to be hanging it from that anyway. We're going to be turning these into houses. So, you probably are going to want to fill the holes on the short arrow. I, for time's sake, am not going to do that. But there are 2 holes in it that you might want to fill. So go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to spray my wood before I'm going to use a light coat of Antique Waverly wax for these. And I thought, oh yeah, there we go. So I like to spray my wood down a little bit just to dampen it so it takes the stain. It's really a stain, more or less a stain. And I just feel like it goes on better if I wet my wood first. And I like that it shows the wood grain through when I wet it. And then I'll take a baby wipe actually and wipe this. After I completely cover it, I'll take a baby wipe, and it's almost like a wet sanding technique. It will wash some of that right off. So we're just going right down and right up and making that really light. I want the wood grain, but I don't really want the dark wood this time. So that's what we're doing. Okay. See how light it is now? But you can still see the wood. So I love that light stained effect. So let's do the same thing with all 3 pieces. I'm going to spray this again, just because it wasn't really wet anymore. So I'm just zhuzhing this on just to get it covered. I have a fan running to the left of me, and it's really drying my stuff as I go already. It is a warm one, no humidity, but it's warm, and I have all my doors closed here in the garage just to keep the bugs. I'm telling you, they're having a problem here in New Hampshire with, or at least where my sister lives in New Hampshire, with horseflies. They're just bad. They're like, they bite, and they're just thousands of them. Not thousands. It's not like they swarm. It feels like it, but you know, you're trying to sit outside and enjoy the weather and zoom, zoom. So I feel like there's almost more bugs in New Hampshire than, let me get a clean wipe here, than there is in Florida. And I'm not saying there's no bugs in Florida. Please don't tell me. I know, but they're mostly like on the ground, I feel like. I don't know. They don't bother me. Like the bugs in New England, I forgot, but they like kamikaze you, like they're in your face. They are. Okay, so one night, I got to tell you a funny story. One night, my sister and I were out in this craft room, wiping off the stain, and we were crafting. Excuse me. And my brother-in-law went to bed. Some people have to work, right? And my brother-in-law went to bed, and a dragonfly, we had the door open late. It was hot, and we had the garage door open, wide open, even in the dark. And a dragonfly came in because he liked the lights on, right? And I'm going to get the edges of this one, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But this big dragonfly came in, and we have fluorescent lights overhead here in the garage. So it was attracted, you know, and so it came in, and we were trying with the broom to get it to go out, and you know, it went every which way but out. And so eventually we just said, all right, well, it's staying up there where the lights are, but what a racket it was making because it was so big, and it kept hitting the light and bouncing off the light. You know how bugs do that. And so it was just zzz, zzz, zzz for the whole night. Well, my sister went in to get a drink or to go to the bathroom or whatever, and when she went in, it followed her in the house door. So then I went in for something. Maybe we were all done for the evening, and so it was my turn, and I went in. So when I think she might have been in her bedroom, maybe getting ready for the evening or ready for bed. And so when I went in, it's just me and this huge dragonfly, and I'm talking like it was so big. I'm telling you, it was so big. So anyways, it was like a Tyrannosaurus dragonfly. So I like this a little bit lighter, but I'm not really getting there. And I'm putting a little elbow grease into this one, but it's not really lightening up. But that's okay. We're going to work with it. So anyways, I end up like I have to kill this. So I run around and I shut all the doors, my bedroom door, the bathroom door, so that it won't go in there, right? So I can limit to where it's going to go. And now I'm whacking it. I'm trying to whack it, and it's flying at me. It hits me in the forehead, and it hurt. It's so big, it hurt. I'm like, ah! So anyway, next day, I finally kill it. I save it for my brother-in-law to see and be proud of me. Because I told him the next day, it was so big, it was like a bat. It was like, and the thing is, I couldn't kill it. I kept whacking it, and it would get up and fly again. It was crazy. So, I'm sorry if you love dragonflies, and I had to kill this dragonfly, but I knew I couldn't sleep with the dragonfly buzzing around. So if I could have caught it in a cage or something, but I couldn't do that either. So anyway, I finally am a wreck, and I'm making all this racket because I'm whacking it, and I'm from one end of the kitchen to the other trying to get this dragonfly. Just wouldn't die. So my sister comes out and I'm belly laughing because after I get it, I I kind of think about what I just must have looked like in slow motion. You know, do you ever do that? It's like I know if I had had a camera on me, I was dancing all around the kitchen. Excuse me. Too much talking. So, anyways, it made me laugh just thinking about what I must have just looked like. My hair was a wreck, and I'm belly laughing, bent over belly laughing, leaning on the counter, and my sister comes out and she's like, "What? What is so funny?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, when you came in, you let that bat, because we were calling it a bat out here, right? And it was as big as a hummingbird. It was really big, and so I'm like, when you came in, you let it in, and now I've been trying to kill it, and it wouldn't die. And so, anyways, we had such a laugh over that because we saved it. It was so big, and the next day when my brother-in-law came home, we're like, oh my God, you should see what we had to deal with last night. This thing was humongous, and we had to, kill it over and over and over. And oh my God, what we went through to get this bat, and on and on and on. And yeah, so it was probably funnier than it is now telling you, but you know how those things go. It's just, anyway, I had to contend. So now I am pretty much keeping the the garage door closed for the most part. It's not too hot in here as long as I have a fan on. So I'm just cutting around some of these words and some of these pictures that I want to put on. This is a rub on from the Dollar Tree. Everything's from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to just rub this all onto our wood pieces that we are making houses. Alright, so it can be random. I just cut this. I love this little canning jar, and I don't really have too much care of what it is even going to, you know what though? I do have to dry these for a second because they are wet from rubbing the baby white. Let's dry those up a little. You know, I'll dry these up and then we'll be right back. Okay, so that's pretty good. So we are going to just do, rub on crazy. So we have to take the paper backing off. Whoop, and be careful because as soon as you take this backing off, it's going to stick to whatever it wants to. So I am just going to position this wherever I get the most. Wherever I am going to get the most out of my positioning. So I think that looks pretty good. And then I just use you know what, you can even use, I was going to say, I'm going to use a popsicle stick, but you can even use, we'll try this, a Dollar Tree scraper. Might be able to get more off at once this way, but we'll see. And you just rub it on. Rub it on. I am trying to not sing song to you. When I tend to sing song directions a lot when I am giving them because I have a son with autism and we do that a lot with him. It's just some of the way that we've always communicated. It's not like we sing everything, but anyway, that is why sometimes I tend to sing song when I am talking. All right, so now we're just going to lift up, and we're going to do it slowly so that we can see if we've missed any spots that stick to the part that we're rubbing up. Just lay it back down, rub it on again. You want to get everything that you can. Oop, I'm missing a piece of my butterfly wing. Can't have that. Doing good, doing good. And so you just rub it on. You know how to rub-ons. Rub-ons. This is working very good, this little Dollar Tree scraper. The one that is like a Cricut dupe. It's really, really doing a great job. I think I am done. Let's see. Yes. All right. Some of it went over the edge. So this is what I have. Pretty good. Rubbed off good. And now we're going to take some other pieces, and we're just going to, the pieces that we didn't use on here, I'm just going to rub them off randomly down the bottom. And we're going to go back to the bottoms on all of these afterwards, because we'll have some pieces that we can add to the bottom down here so that the whole thing, this says tiptoe through your garden, I think it said. So cute. I have to read it on the next one. Tiptoe through the tulips. All right, so that one is empty. I'm going to put that in the trash. And then I'm going to take the one that we cut out on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing on the top of this one. But I'm going to cut out, there's a bicycle at the bottom. I'm going to cut that out. I want that on the front of my, small house. I'm just going to cut that out. So yeah, I'm working on trying not to be so sing-songy. Alright, this is going to go position this right up here. It's going to say spring, but we're okay with that. I'm happy with it saying spring, even though we're in summer already. It is a pretty cool craft. Just rub these all in. I like this Dollar Tree scraper because you can do more. You don't, if a popsicle stick is all you have, that will do great too. But I like that this just rubs off so much more space. At one time. You can just do more at one time. Alright, let's see. Let's go from the bottom up. Looking good in the neighborhood. So far, so good. I just got a little bit of the S over here. And there we go. So, spring. All right, so now we're going to open another package, and these are out at the Dollar Tree right now. I just bought these at the Dollar Tree. That one's empty. Silly girl, silly girl. And my sister bought them as well. So they are at the Dollar Tree right now if you are interested in them. All right, so now I'm going to kind of reverse, and I'm going to put what I had on the right side, we'll say, I'm going to put on the left side. And I'm just filling up space at this point. Just filling up space. I don't even need a rhyme or reason on how to cut this. But this time we'll go this way. I have to cut it there. So because spring is on one side, I'm going to start that on this side. I don't know if I will necessarily use the word spring again, but I'm going to fill up the spaces here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut spring off. I don't really want spring on there twice. I'm going to stick that right on there. And I don't really want the bicycle either, but if I be very careful because we'll lose it. If I position this in such a way, I think we'll be good. We'll get some of that flour. All right, so just go for it, really. You are the artist, and you get to pick where you want to put it. I'm just here to inspire you. But this is so much fun. I'm really enjoying the rub-ons. Let me know in the comments if you're doing those too. I mean, how easy. You just rub it on, and it's like a professional job each and every time. So look, here's my house covered in rub-ons. I see a fly. Uh-oh, no, it's a bee. It's a bee. Hold, please. You know what it is? They love my flowers, my adorable flowers. Okay, so now I am going to rub this side on. So let's take our backing off and position this. Let's see. I think this looks like a pretty good position. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you're using these, because for so long I shied away from these because I didn't really know. I just didn't think they were going to be good. And I don't know why until I started, I don't know. I maybe I saw somebody do this, but then I thought, well, I'll give it a try, you know. Maybe the rub-ons have come a long way since I've tried them before. I don't know, but I am loving the rub-ons. Having fun with rub-ons. Maybe that'll be the title to this. Whoop. Oh, got butterfly wing. Maybe that'll be the title for this video, is having fun with rub-ons. Oops. I'm not very gentle, though. Not a gentle crafter at all. And you can see, usually, I mean, every once in a while, I miss a spot, but for the most part, you can see where you've been or where you've rubbed well, because it kind of turns frosty. All right, that's awesome. I am loving these houses. Okay, so that's going to be our background. Now we have to do the same thing with this little house, but we want to put the little bike down front, and it says Welcome Sunshine. So I'm going to just take the backing off. I'm just going to position this kind of down the bottom a little, because I want to put a piece of burlap and stamp it and say home. So I'm going to just put this at the bottom. Not all the way though. And we're going to rub it on. And so I kind of wish that this wood was even, I know I'm saying a lot, sorry, lighter. I wish the wood grain was a little bit lighter. If I had put more water, I could have toned down the Antique Waverly wax a little bit more. So if you want to go lighter on yours, because it makes it show up a little darker, that's all. But, you know, I like that it's faint as well, because it gives it that little antique look. And let's see, we need to get those gears. All right, this is so cute. So now we have our bicycle there. See how we have our bicycle? Oh, flies, I'm telling you. So you know what it is? These flowers are so beautiful. I think they're attracting them. Okay. Now I have two little pieces of material. I have a piece of burlap and a little piece of cotton, a little white piece of cotton. And what I'm going to do is, and it's going to overlap a little bit on my house, and that's okay. I want it to. So one is a little bit smaller than the other, and they're both frayed at the edges. My brother-in-law is home, so he might walk in a minute and say hello. And so what we're going to, and these are the Dollar General stamps, the little alphabet stamps. So I'm going to take my little piece of white, and before I do that, I'm going to take my brush that had the antique Waverly wax, and I'm just going to try to rub a little bit of that on here, just so that it doesn't look brand new. Kind of want my fabric a little dirty. There is a little print on here, but there's nothing I can do about that. It's really kind of cute. It might add to it. It's a little paisley print. Okay, so now I'm going to just, you're going to hear my brother-in-law. He's home. He's going to feed his chickens. So he's going to be in and out. And I'm just going to put home, the letters H-O-M-E, right on this little piece of paper, on this little piece of fabric. I'm hoping it shows up really good. That did. Nice and dark. We want it to be nice and dark and not perfect. So H-O... I'm going to get that nice and dark, so I'm really pressing down on my ink pad. M. Oh, that would have been darker. I didn't put enough. All right, one more letter, E. My brother-in-law has, I can't remember how many chickens. He loves his chickens. He's very good to his chickens. Okay, and they give him lots of eggs. They have beautiful eggs too. They are Easter egg chickens, and they have beautiful colored eggs. All right, so there is our little home. Now we're going to glue that right onto our, uh-oh, my glue gun fell. My glue gun fell. Trials and tribulations. Okay, but real life. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back, just lightly, and I'm going to put my home right on top. And I'm just going to use something to hold it down that doesn't burn my fingers. And then we're going to do some constructing here with our houses. Whoops. This is what it's gonna look like when we get all those spider webbies off. Alright, so now we're going to, I'm gonna take popsicle stick. I know I have a couple here. And this house is going to be in the front, so we're just going to make sure that our two house roofs are touching up here, and that way I'll know it's in the right spacing. And I'm going to put a couple of popsicle sticks down the bottom, because at the bottom it's not going to show, because this little house will be hiding it. So we're just going to put a little glue on each side that it's touching, just to hold that more securely. And then I'm going to put another one a little bit higher. And then we'll put one of those coffee stirrers where the roof line is. And that's how we'll attach those. I'm having issues here with my wires. You know what it is? It's a cord that fell. And the coffee stirrer is just thin enough that we can put that right across the top. And no one will ever even know we have a coffee stirrer there. And you can actually glue almost the whole entire stick. Put that down. Okay. Then we're going to turn our houses over as soon as this is pretty well dry. And we put the antique Waverly wax on the edges of this outside house. So while that's drying for a minute, let's attach our home, little home sign. And I want this oversized for a reason. I just liked it oversized. So I'm going to attach that over the bike. Before I do, though, I'm going to take my sanding block and I'm going to sand the edges just for the old antique look. That's how I like it. If you don't like it like that, you skip this step. This is not necessary. I just love it this way. It just makes it look like, you know, I don't know. I like the look. I haven't come up with a good reason. I just like it. I like it to look finished. I like it to look old and like it came out of my grandmother's attic. Alright, and then I'm just going to take off some of the dust. Get the bottom really good. And like I said, this one has holes. Feel free to take a little spackle. We are actually starting to clean up my craft room out here, which I know, right? It's sad, I know. But little by little, I have to start cleaning up my craft room out here. So I did not have spackle handy today, and I decided that we would just go ahead anyway. All right, so now I'm going, so I love this. Look at what we have here. We're going to sand the edges of this as well. Just a little bit. Especially the corners. So let me just do this. I hate the sound of this. And I really hate when I'm watching crafters on YouTube do it because I cringe. So let me just go around my edges and I'll be right back. Okay, now that everything is nicely sanded, but take my word for it, it would have been easier to do the sanding. But I love the edges all sanded. It would have been easier to do that before we attached our sticks on the back. Alright, so now I'm going to take my home sign and give this a little bit more glue on the back, and we're going to stick that right down on the house. Again, I'm going to use my scraper just to press down on it so I don't burn my fingers. Oh, how cute. Cute. And you know what? I'm going to take this leftover scrap and I'm going to rub some of it on to the top up here. Right where there's nothing left but the tip of the house. You can use any little piece you like. I'm just going to rub that on so that it's not plain up there. Alright, I'm really loving this craft. Okay, so that's the little house that says home. Now we're going to attach these two and the third one right in the middle. How cute is that? Alright, so let's hot glue those on. And let's see, let's eyeball this. We're going to need glue. Let's put it right on the back of the house. Right down the sides. Then at the bottom, probably running out of glue. Always. Always. And then it takes a couple seconds for it to heat up again, right? You can't just push it through. Alright, I'm going to flip this over and position it right in the middle. Oh my gosh, this is so, so cute. Now, I would put this on a stand, like a Dollar Tree easel stand, and I don't have one handy. I don't even know if my sister has those, but if I were at home, I don't want to take away from this by hanging it. So I would just put this on a stand. So we don't have one of those right now. So just pretend it's sitting there on a stand, and how adorable is that? I love it. All right, everybody, this is a great time for you to give me a thumbs up, and sharing is caring, so go ahead and share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost a thing, and it really helps my channel grow. And I think that I am going to go put my bathing suit on and go for a quick dip in the pool and get all refreshed before my sister comes home, because we are going to a famous ice cream place here in Belmont, New Hampshire, called Jordan's, and we're going for some hot fudge sundaes. Woohoo! And maybe I'll take some pictures and show you guys along the way. But if it's really, really busy, I won't, because people tend to not like when you're taking videos and pictures of them. So we will see. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this craft as much as I enjoyed doing it with you. So thank you for watching. And until the next time I see you, be good and do good. Bye now.